All right, so we're diving into Lord of the Rings, huh? The snack of intel you've given me, it's impressive. Books versus movies.
A classic debate. As old as, well, maybe not the Second Age, but close.
Huh, yeah. But here's the thing. We're not picking sides.
Exactly. It's not about better. We're more interested in how each one, page versus screen, how it tells the story.
Right. Like what changes, why, and what does that tell us? And you've given us some really interesting stuff to geek out on.
Oh, yeah. This is for the diehards, the detail-obsessed. Nerd alert, in effect.
Full force. So first up, this blew my mind. Frodo. We all picture Elijah Wood.
Right.
Young, adventurous.
Right, the hero setting out.
But book Frodo, he's 50 years old when this whole ring quest starts.
Yeah, that's one that throws people off. But Tolkien, he was meticulous. Even Hobbit lifespans, he had it all figured out.
So it's not just a random number.
Nope. Changes how we see Frodo. It's not some youthful, naive adventure. He's leaving behind a long, settled life.
Right. Imagine thinking someone's like a college kid. Then, bam, they're pushing 50. Whole different perspective.
Exactly. And the weight of that sacrifice. He's not just, off on a journey. This is everything he knows gone for Middle-earth.
Makes those early chapters in the Shire hit different. Okay, next up, Sam. The movies. They're best buds. Equals. But the sources you sent hint at something more complex.
Oh, yeah. The books, there's definitely a power dynamic, like that whole Master Frodo thing Sam talked.
Right. Never really thought about that, but it's consistent. So does that make Sam's loyalty more impressive? Or kind of sad?
Good question.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the movies went for that equal friendship thing to, work for wider audience.
So relatable, yeah. But maybe some nuance gets lost.
Exactly. And Tolkien was all about nuance.
Okay, speaking of nuance, Aragorn. Movies. He's the reluctant king, all brooding. But the books?
Different vibe. Book Aragorn knows his lineage, and he's not afraid of it. He wants the throne, but it's strategic.
So he's not all woe is me destiny. He's got a plan.
Right. Deal with the ring, unite everyone against Sauron, then king business.
So it's less reluctance, more like good timing.
Yeah, he sees the bigger picture. And honestly, his ambition isn't evil. It's tied to saving Middle-earth.
So which is more compelling, the guy forced into greatness or the one who chooses it? Tough call.
Right. Both work, but the books give you a more, thoughtful Aragorn.
All right, on to the big guy, or Big Eye, Sauron. Movies, he's that fiery orb. Was he always just an eyeball floating around?
Not quite. More like that eye was his projection, a tool, not his actual form.
So less literal eyeball, more like his evil CCTV system.
Exactly. Watching everything, scaring everyone. Effective but creepy branding.
Imagine that eye just hovering over your town. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, next up, Helm's Deep. Epic movie battle. Elves show up, right? Help Rohan out.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
The books. No elves.
Seriously.
Rohan's on their own. Makes their stand even more impressive, like against all odds.
Imagine that, no backup coming. Just you and a horde of Uruk-hai.
Right. So Rohan's victory, even more badass,
Right.
adds to the tension big time.
Huge difference. Speaking of differences, this one bugs me. Tom Bombadil. Totally MIA in the films.
Yeah, Tom's a head scratcher. Powerful dude, immune to the ring. Saves the hobbits then. Poof.
I know. Like, what was the point?
Well, he's fascinating, but doesn't really affect the ring plot. So, movies. Gotta keep things moving.
I guess, but still, the guy who can sing the ring into submission, gone, feels like a crime.
Right. But maybe that's part of the allure. Who was this guy? Why was he even there? More mystery.
Okay, you win. Mystery is good. But speaking of mysteries, you keep mentioning 6 books, not 3. Are we just scratching the surface here?
Oh, we're just getting started. This deep dive. It's gonna get deep.
All right, so 6 books, not 3. My mind's a little blown. Explain this to me like I'm a hobbit who just discovered second breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like this. Tolkien wrote it as one big story, right? 6 books all connected. But when it was published, it got split into the 3 volumes we know.
Okay, so like a TV show with seasons, but meant to be one long epic.
Exactly. And the movies, they don't follow that same split. Like book 3, it's mostly Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli chasing orcs. Then we switch to Merry and Pippin with the Ents.
And the whole time, I'm like, where's Frodo and Sam?
Yep. Their story picks up in book 4, which basically rewinds the timeline. Works in a book, you've got the space, but imagine that in a movie.
Whoa, yeah. Halfway through, jump back in time, Headache City.
So the filmmakers streamlined things.
Yeah.
Probably saved us some confusion.
For sure. Got to think about how to make it work visually, keep things flowing.
Speaking of things that are missing, I'm still hung up on Tom Bombadil. Powerful, immune to the ring, saves the hobbits, and poof, gone.
Right. It's a big debate among fans. He's this intriguing character, but his story, it's kind of a side quest.
But isn't that what makes him so cool? Like this mysterious dude who doesn't play by the rules? Think of the possibilities.
I hear ya. He's got a charm that's definitely missing in the films. But they needed to keep the focus on Frodo, keep that urgency going. I guess I can see that. Maybe someday we'll get a Tom Bombadil movie, spin-off or something. A girl can dream. But for now, let's talk about another duo who got the movie treatment. Boromir and Faramir, the sons of Denethor.
Oh yeah, they definitely get different portrayals.
In the movies, Boromir is this conflicted hero, right? Tempted by the ring but redeems himself. Faramir, though, seems a bit shady.
The big time. Book Faramir is nothing like that. He's wise, honorable, rejects the ring outright. He even helps Frodo and Sam. Movie Faramir wants to take it to his dad.
Whoa, total flip-flop. So, Book Faramir, he's all duty, honor. Movie Faramir, bit power-hungry. Why the
Generally,
giant...
they wanted to create some suspense, make us wonder if anyone could be trusted. But yeah, not fair to Book Faramir. He's the best.
Really shows how adaptations can, streamline characters, simplify things for the movie.
Exactly. Got to find that balance between staying true to the source and making a good film. Speaking of balance, why are there so many differences? What do you think?
I mean, it's like fitting an ocean into a teacup. Lord of the Rings is huge GE. You can't cram everything into a movie.
Right. They have to pick and choose what works visually, what keeps the story going, what people will get.
And there's practical stuff, too. Budget, time, actually making all those crazy creatures look real. It's a spectacle, not just a story.
Plus, let's be real, sometimes you need that movie pace. We live in a fast world, can't be meandering through descriptions like in a book.
Right. Got to keep us on the edge of our seats. So it's not better or worse. It's just different ways of experiencing the story.
Like comparing a symphony to a rock concert. Both music, both awesome, but different vibes.
Okay, love that analogy. So back to specifics. You mentioned Sam and Frodo's relationship is different in the books. How so?
It's more formal, like they're reflecting how society was back then in the Shire. Master Frodo and all that.
Right. Tolkien was writing in a different time, but yeah, different from the, buddy comedy feel we get in the movies.
Totally. The movies wanted that relatable friendship. Shared journey, mutual respect, the power dynamic, probably not as relatable today.
Speaking of relatable, the movies play up Aragorn's reluctant king thing. But the books...
Totally different. Book. Aragorn knows he's destined for the throne. He's not shying away. He's planning. He's got priorities. Defeat Sauron first, then be king.
Right, that whole heavy lies the crown thing. But Viggo Mortensen, he sells that inner turmoil. Book Aragorn is more confident, even ambitious. He's ready.
It's a classic movie trope, the reluctant hero. Works well, but the books give us a more, layered Aragorn.
Totally. Okay, on to Sauron. Movies, he's this all-seeing eye. Super creepy, but was that really him?
Not literally, more like his brand, his projection of power. The eye was a tool, not his physical form. The books hint he could actually become physical again if he got the ring back.
So less an eyeball, more like his evil logo.
Exactly. And super effective. Imagine that thing just floating over your village watching. Terrifying.
Hard pass. Okay, let's switch gears to Helm's Deep. Epic movie battle. Elves show up to help Rohan, right? Big moment.
Yeah, about that. In the books, no elves. At all.
Wait, seriously?
Rohan's completely on their own. Makes their victory even more amazing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine no cavalry coming over the hill. Just you, your courage, and a whole lot of orcs to fight.
Talk about raising the stakes. Another example of how the adaptations make changes. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much.
Right. Speaking of changes, we have to talk about Tom Bombadil again. Still can't get over it. This powerful, mysterious dude, and he just vanishes from the story.
Yeah, I know. He's one of those characters who sparks a lot of debate. Fascinating, but ultimately his role, in the grand scheme of things, is minimal. The movies had to keep the story moving.
I get it, but still, a guy who can sing the ring into submission? Come on.
Yeah.
Feels like a missed opportunity for some real movie magic.
Maybe, but who knows? Maybe someday we'll get that Tom Bombadil spinoff and all our questions will be answered.
Fingers crossed. But for now, something else that caught my attention in your research. The timeline. Bilbo leaving the Shire and Frodo setting off for Rivendell, it all seems much closer together in the movies.
You're right. The films condense the timeline quite a bit. In the books, 17 years pass between Bilbo's 11th birthday party and Frodo leaving Bag End.
17 years, that's a lifetime for a Hobbit. The movies make it seem like just a few months.
It's all about pacing, keeping the audience engaged. But in those 17 years, Frodo has time to truly grasp the power of the ring, the danger it poses.
Whereas in the movies, it's like, bam, instant quest.
It's a big difference in how the story unfolds. The books take their time, the movies are more action-packed.
Think of it like this: a leisurely stroll through the Shire versus a wild ride on the back of an eagle. Both enjoyable, but totally different experiences.
Perfect analogy. So again, not about which is better, but understanding their different ways of telling the story. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about Saruman. Christopher Lee, amazing casting, so chilling as this power-hungry wizard.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? But the books give us a more complex Saruman. He's not just power hungry. There's this element of, well, I think he believes he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, like he thinks he can use his power for good, even if it means working with Sauron. A pragmatist, making tough choices.
So less evil, more misguided.
In a way, yes. But ultimately, his arrogance and desire for control lead him astray. It's a more subtle kind of corruption.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. Why do you think the movies simplified things?
Probably for time. Plus, his downfall in the books is less, well, cinematic.
How so?
After Isengard, he escapes and ends up taking over the Shire.
Wait, what? He becomes like the ruler of Hobbiton?
This whole subplot about how power corrupts, even someone who started with good intentions.
I had no idea. Okay, I need to reread the books. Clearly, we've covered so much, but one thing keeps bugging me. Why do we care about these differences so much? What's the big deal?
It's about the power of stories, right?
Yeah.
Both the books and the movies. They offer a way into this world, this amazing world Tolkien created, good versus evil, ordinary people becoming heroes, and we get to experience it in different ways.
So, by looking at the differences, we understand both versions better. Like, we appreciate the choices Tolkien made and the choices the filmmakers made. Makes it richer, somehow.
Exactly. It's like comparing different translations of a poem. Each one captures the essence, but also brings something new.
I love that. So it's not about picking a winner, it's about enjoying both. Seeing them as different ways of telling this epic story.
And isn't that what's so cool? How a story can be told and retold, adapted, changed,
Yeah.
and still be powerful, still resonate with us.
It really shows how timeless Tolkien's work is. Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. You mentioned something about the Shire itself. The movies, it's all idyllic, peaceful. But the books.
Right. They don't shy away from the darkness. The scouring of the Shire, it's a crucial part of the story
Yeah.
and completely missing from the films.
I remember that, yeah. It's like even the Shire, this peaceful place, gets touched by evil. It shows how nothing's immune, really.
And it shows how the hobbits have changed.
Mhm.
They're not those innocent guys who left the Shire. They've seen things, fought battles. They come back different.
And they have to rebuild not just the Shire, but themselves, too. It's a powerful ending, really makes you think.
It does. It makes you realize that even after the big battle's won, the fight for good continues. And that's a message we can all relate to. Right?
It's like even though Sauron's gone, the fight isn't over. The Shire shows how that darkness can creep in anywhere.
And the hobbits have to deal with it.
Yeah,
They can't just go back to how things were. They've grown, changed.
right. They bring the war home with them, in a way. But they rebuild, stronger than before. It's hopeful, but also kind of sad.
Definitely bittersweet.
Yeah.
It shows that even after facing terrible things, you can come out stronger. It's a powerful message.
It makes you think about, well, everything going on in the world today. Like, even when things are bad, there's always a chance for good.
Exactly. And Tolkien, whether it's the books or the movies, he gives us that. Hope, courage, fighting for what's right. It's timeless.
It really is. And that's what's so great about this whole discussion, right? We're not just comparing, we're digging deeper into the story that still matters to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By looking at the differences, at the choices made, we get a fuller picture, both Tolkien's vision and what the filmmakers did.
We see how a story can be told in different ways, change, and still be powerful.
Like, think of it like
Yeah.
looking at a tapestry,
Yeah.
right? Different angles, you see different details, but it's all part of the same work of art.
Love that. So whether you prefer the books, the movies, or both, there's always something new to find in Middle-earth.
Right. And I always encourage people to go back to the source material, to Tolkien's words. There's so much depth there.
Pay attention to the details, the way Tolkien built this whole world. History, languages, myths, it's incredible.
And just let yourself get lost in it. The beauty of the writing, the scope of it all. It's a journey worth taking.
You might find yourself thinking about the hobbits in a new way, their strength, how they're connected to the land.
Or maybe you'll ponder those big questions, good versus evil, power, what it means to fight for what you believe in.
So many possibilities. That's what makes exploring Tolkien's world so amazing. So to everyone listening, go explore, go deeper.
Yeah. Keep diving in. You never know what treasures you'll find.
And until next time, may the road go ever on.
And may your deep dives be filled with discovery.